Hello all, and welcome to another review from ScotRail47. This is the first in terms of reviews that I've ever done. This is of a Steam Loco, and a Bachmann Steam Loco. This is my first ever Bachmann Steam Loco. So this is a very nice review. I had recorded a review of some Hornby A3s, but I think I lost it and never got around to uploading it. Anyhow, this is of a Bachmann standard class 4 MT, the 620, with a BR2 tender, if that means anyone, and it's in the early emblem, or early crest. It's DCC ready, and it's in Bachmann's older style packaging. So as you can see, this was bought from the Model Railway, what's it called, the Model Railway Shop, I think? Or the Railway Shop, opposite Pickering Station, beside the NYRM. Other way around, NYMR, which you shall see a video from later on. This is a lovely little model shop, with really great prices. As you can see, this was reduced from 97 to 87. And I also got some Mark 1s that were reduced to £15. So let's open up the box. As I said previously, it's in Bachmann's older style packaging, so you get this nice little card inset, and you get the lovely little history on the back saying they were introduced in 1952. They were based on the tank version of this, which was designed by I think it was Stranier or something, or Ivet. This particular one was Ridley Riddles. Built in Doncaster and Horwich. This one was a Horwich version, and they saw service mixed traffic on secondary duties throughout the country, in the eastern region, northeastern region, London, Midland, Scottish and Southern, and on cross country. So really, if you're modelling steam area anywhere in Britain, I'm sure you could come up with an excuse to have one of these lovely things. So the paraphernalia you get your Collectors Club joining slip. This is your, well, that's a little label, that's a little business card from the railway shop. They have a website and they're very nice, so you should have a look at that. That's your guarantee. And then this is your how to manufacture, or not, sorry, how to look after. As I said, it was DCC ready. It was quite a hard decoder fit because I've already fitted one to it. It's like you have to, I'll show you when I take the model out. But anyway, this is a list of parts. It doesn't look like that many. However, if they took apart this bit here, there would be far more many parts. And in this kind of, in the old foam inlet before you got the iceberg packaging, or ice block, one of the two. Bachmann used the foam inlets, so we get a nice bit of accessories, some brake rods, something that looks like smoke deflectors, some other stuff. I don't quite know what they're for. So anyway, we'll save the best till last, and we'll take a look at this BR2 tender. Very nice. It's such a fine matte finish on the paintwork, you don't really get your fingers on it. So there you can see the little early emblem of the lion over the wheel, and you can just about make out that it says British Railways on it, but the camera won't be able to, of course. You get the lovely lining of the red and the blue, not blue, red and the white, and the underframe detail of the suspension. Got the nice water thing. Got this inlet coal. It's well, it's not very realistic, these things that you get in here in the tenders. It comes out somehow. It's not really realistic, it's a bit too shiny. Well, I know coal was shiny, but this is a bit too shiny. So that just lifts out, and in there I have put some lead weights because I felt this tender was a bit lightweight. we have, this is the beginning of the cab detail, so you get that thing where the coal comes out, some handles. And the most impressive thing about this is under here, don't know if you can make it out because it's all black, but under here there is the chute that comes down, so that, you know, the water troughs in the track, that it was, as it was going along, that chute would be lowered and it could take on water on the move. You can still see the remains of the water track as you go over the 4th rail bridge. So that's a lovely detail. That here we have on the back NEM coupling with the tension lock that I hate. Nice little buffers, sprung of course, some handrails climbing up bits. 3,500 gallons capacity, and then your hourly overhead line warning stickers. Even though, like, when this label was like introduced, like pre-1955, there was really only the wood head route was electrified, but, well, I mean overhead electrified, but health and safety and all that. It's got this lovely shape to it. I like these type of tenders where the coal bit's only in the middle. Quite a small coal bit, but it's so that kind of if it's running backwards, the drivers have windows to look out of easily instead of hanging their head out of the cab, which would be quite uncomfortable in the bleak midwinter. As the carol goes. Anyhow, let's take a look at the most important part of this, the engine. Oh, careful. You have to be so delicate with it, and it's small. That was my first impression of it. It's very little, nice and compact. Got a lovely gear valve linkage here, and these all move as the wheels move, which is just a really impressive sight. I got the pistons here, nice at the end. And on the leading tracks, they're sprung down with that spring thing there, so that keeps them on the track, which is really useful because these front bogies always have a tendency to jump off the rails. These leading wheels have a tendency to jump off the rails as they're going along. The front, she looks very nice. We've got our build crest somewhere, I think that's on the front, saying that it was built in, oh, where was it? It was built in Harwich. Never heard of Harwich, but they built her. Number 76079, which is quite a cool number. The overhead warning lights there, lines rather. And we've got nice steps. It's a lovely handrail along the top with the dome. Got really nice safety valves and whistles around here. That's very nice. In the cab you have some fairly okay cab detail. Nothing amazing compared to my Hornby A3 that I have. Well, not the really posh Hornby A3 that I have, which I'll need to get DCC'd. I'll need to get that DCC'd. What's strange is only, the camera will focus, only two of these, only the front of the window is kind of, it's got glass, well not glass, but a glass effect in it, and the back one doesn't. But then again, looking at this picture, that's realistic. It's very ambitious of Bachmann to put in a picture of the model, because that leaves easily open to scrutiny. One thing I have noticed in the picture is these pipes around here are copper coloured, but on this model they're just black. But I mean, you could paint that yourself if you want to. You've got an interesting method of linking the tender to the loco. There's no pickups on the tender like the Hornby models, but it seems to run okay. It's got this thing, this drawbar with two holes, and it slides through this here and connects here. So that means you can have it, which is very useful. You can have it at two stages. You can have it this far apart or much more closely coupled, which is really good because if you have a layout that's really realistic with lovely big point works, you can have them closely coupled and nicely realistic. Whereas if you have a layout like mine where you have the Hornby points or the standard Hornby points, it can get around it no problem. Now the DCC chip is the plug-in is just here, and which means, as you can see here, it's just in the front there, and you have the motor at the back, and it's really tight to fit a decoder in a Steam Loco, because there's a metal weight in here and the decoder's rammed in the top of here. And that was quite hard to get in, but the hardest part was putting on the body without getting wires caught, because the decoders come with an excessive length of wiring, which always bends in the wrong direction, as I found. But I managed to, with a bit of poking with a screwdriver and a bit of a few nervous moments when I thought I'd snapped the decoder, I managed to get it up there. And she has DCC fitted now. Yeah, so she's been running and everything now. You may be wondering why I got a Steam Locomotive. Well, as I said earlier, I got it on the shop beside the North Yorkshire Moors Railway station at Gromont. I think I said Pickering earlier, but it's Gromont. Not Grosmont, as you would read it, or as I would read it, but Gromont, you apparently dropped the S. So yeah, and it was, well, because I'd been on the steam railway and been inspired by the smells and the sound of steam, and this one was quite a nice price, and she looks nice, because I really like the kind of open linkage. It's almost American style-esque that the standard classes are, because it's designed so that everything's really easy to, everything's very accessible for the maintenance crews. So in some ways they don't look as graceful as, say, a Gresley A4 or a Coronation class, but they're very, very practical, very durable. Like most of the standards, these were withdrawn long short of the operational lifespan, because of the modernisation plans. But hey ho, you can't be running steam forever. So yeah, there are 6 preserved in various places, one at the NYRM, and here's a picture that I took at the NYRM sheds of one of these types of locomotives. So yeah, let's get her up on the track and run her about. So here it is, sitting on the track. Now the coupling, the tender thing is set to the furthest away one, so that there's quite a wide gap, but I mean, if you can make that out, because this camera makes it awfully darker than it actually is, I'll move it in front of the GWR coaches, that'll make it more obvious. The gap still isn't really that big, so that's quite good. So I suppose we should get her going. So here she comes. She has been running both ways for an hour in each direction, as Bachmann recommend. But she runs really nicely in the forwards direction. So let's increase her speed. 13, shall we? Here she comes. Quite fast. Probably say, what's that, about 60 mile an hour in real life? She's fairly chugging along anyway. So now she's running backwards. Just as smooth and lovely. Now it's important that these run quite well backwards, because, well, they did in real life, and she seems to be managing it quite well. Especially seeing as the kind of light weight of the tender. So yeah, really well done there. We're just going to bring her to a stop. That was a bit of a jerky stop there, eh? And what do you think? Might want a bit more running in. Now let's see if we can tighten her up. Let's put her on the number 2 setting. That's the tightest setting of the tender connection that you saw earlier. Let's see if that manages the Hornby points. Let's see how it does. It's fine. Seems to handle them quite well. Which is good. Because that's just really impressive from Bachmann that they have such a nice model, but yet it can run on these really tight curves, which a lot of people have on their layout. So we're just going to couple her up to these carriages here. A little bit of a jerky stop from me there. So what we have her connected to here is 3 GWR carriages, Hornby, and 2, and a southern one, and a Southern Railways brake carriage. Now I know these aren't BR carriages, but these are the heritage carriages that I have lying about. I might invest in some actual, some Gresley, not Gresley, some of the nice BR carriages that are kind of like left over from the Big 4 companies. Like there's a nice Thompson ones that I might get, but we'll see. So anyway, let's set her off. I'll put the camera down here. Doesn't she look nice? I really like these GWR carriages that Hornby made. They're fairly old, but they still look nice. And the custard and chocolate livery. So there we have it. The Bachmann 4MT 260. Very nice model indeed.